Over the last couple of years, the rumors around a Fallout remake have been seriously ramping up. Between insiders, rumored spin-off games, and even Bethesda's own leaked roadmap that could promise a Fallout 3 remaster in the next couple of years, there have been all kinds of wild leaks and speculation, but frankly we have no idea if any of that's actually happening. But thankfully modders are coming to the rescue once again, as we just recently got a gigantic update on the Fallout 3 remake mod, as Fallout 4 the Capital Wasteland project is something you can actually get excited for. They just had a big reveal around their Pit DLC. Just like they did for Point Lookout, they are now remaking the entirety of Fallout 3's Pit DLC in Fallout 4's engine, and even including some extras this time around. The Pit in Fallout 4 will open up almost identically to the Pit in Fallout 3. Werner reaches out to you via a distress signal, and you're going to meet up with him in the Commonwealth after dealing with a few Pit raiders. But since this is in the Commonwealth, things will be slightly different. Those initial Pit raider locations are added onto the map of Fallout 4, and the team here did a shockingly good job at creating near identical copies of those same locations in Fallout 3. So even if this is just your first time ever experiencing the Pit, it'll still feel pretty similar. The voice work for this mod will also be fully custom. They can't just reuse the voice lines from the original Pit DLC.
Thank you for your help with those guys. They finally tracked me down. You've come about the broadcast, right?
The Pit is a mess. Nearly everyone who lives there is either sick, dying, or worse. It's the water and the air. You can't escape it. You stay there a few years, and no matter what, it'll get you.
But honestly, that's not a huge problem because this sounds absolutely fantastic. They managed to find a voice actor that so closely resembles Werner that it almost sounds like a better version of the original voice acting. Currently, the voice work in the trailer is a mix of work in progress and properly voiced, but they are recruiting voice actors, so if you're interested, I'll have some links down below. One short disguise change later, and Werner and you are able to head off to the fully recreated Pit. And if it has been a little while since you played the DLC, you may not realize how insanely accurate all of this is. The environment here is identical to what we had in Fallout 3 originally. With their past Point Lookout DLC, you could literally use guides from the original Point Lookout release to help you with the Fallout 4 remade version. And it seems like with the Pit, we're going to have a similar degree of accuracy, even down to some of these raider spawn locations being perfectly matched up. But of course, even beyond that, all the dialogue and when it's prompted will also match up perfectly. The exact same choices and dialogue options are all here. But where things truly go to the next level is with this walkout scene into the Pit, and you can really start to appreciate how much of an upgrade Fallout 4's engine is compared to Fallout 3's. You can really see this with the lighting and weathers from the Pit. It just looks so much better for Fallout 4. The skies have more detail and life behind them, where in Fallout 3 things just looked a lot more washed out. And these updated weathers were even somewhat inspired by Fallout 76's take on the Pit. We now have this pretty awesome cross section where we could see both a modder take on recreating this area, but also Bethesda recreating the Pit for Fallout 76. And as we cross the iconic Pit Bridge, what stands out to me is just, again, how accurate this all is. These mines are not only in the exact same spots as Fallout 3, but even their textures are changed to be in the exact same style of Fallout 3 instead of just reusing the Fallout 4 visuals. Both the hunting rifle and dog textures you can see here are also modeled after Fallout 3's style, and even just this bus, which surprisingly enough actually gave me some of the most nostalgia of this entire video. Those Fallout 3 buses really were iconic. And a more specific example of just how insane this attention to detail is, the authors here described how these prisoners with jobs are scripted to always explode once they reach a certain point. So even if there's no mine there, they'll just blow up. Sorry. That's how it worked in Fallout 3 originally, and of course, that's how it's working in the remade mod. So it's not only some of these visuals aligning perfectly, but also the back-end scripting is being done in an identical way, at least for some of this. But this talking scene with mechs really does reveal the power of Fallout 4's updated engine.
I love it.
Another slaver wandered back here, huh? You couldn't even get over the bridge, could you?
In that, you can hear a bit more of this revoiced content, and again, it just sounds insanely accurate. They're doing a great job at getting voice actors that very closely match what we had previously. So now all of this was showcased as a part of the recent C3 presentation, where a ton of modders got together to share progress and updates on some of the largest upcoming mods for Fallout and the Elder Scrolls. And during this, we further learned that the Pit isn't just some distant pipe dream. The questline here is completely implemented already, and it's playable from start to finish. But But this team decided to take things with the pit even a bit further, and they also showed that they're adding an entire expanded area to explore and experience during or after this questline. So of course this will be Fallout 4, you'll be able to remain and visit the pit even after you finish the main quest here, but now there's also going to be a large expansion on the original DLC. There's going to be several new settlements, some collapsed but also some inhabited, like a couple of new wild men settlements. Here we can see them building out a crashed airplane into a proper settlement with some environmental storytelling within to expand the wild men faction, and there's another really awesome windmill settlement that is also going to be occupied by them. It's described how from nearly all of these newly added areas you're going to be able to see the downtown portion of the pit, which is just a really nice touch. And some of these will even explain some of the other things happening in the pit, giving some more lore and story as to what's going on. There's a new Ground Zero location where the nuke landed, and this is where the pit scrap will be originating from. If you are interested in helping out, the project is recruiting voice actors, 3D artists, and specifically some clothing artists. But of course, this is all part of something larger. This is a secondary team working on the pit DLC specifically, but the Capital Wasteland project overall has still been making a ton of progress on their larger Fallout 3 remake, and thankfully they're just giving us the opportunity to play a bit of it early with the pit DLC first. But Fallout 3 is not the only Fallout game with a remake that you should be looking forward to. Fallout Vault 13, aka the Fallout 1 remake mod, is also on the way, and this team too has announced an upcoming demo of their own. A playable demo consisting of the Inyo is on the way. This is going to give you the opportunity to explore not only Vault 13, but also Shady Sands, two locations that we already got an extensive look at from their past gameplay, and even further, this will also include Vault 15 and everything in between these areas. The playable area can be seen here. It's described how this is going to be about 1/3 the size of the Commonwealth, and more so than anything, this should be a magical experience. The first proper opportunity to experience the old school isometric Fallout games, fully recreated in Fallout 4's engine with a ton of 3D work to make it all possible. And even other custom work like re-implementing the Fallout 1 skill system, which this mod is also doing. This project recently did an interview with No Mutants Allowed, and we learned a lot more about what's going on and what is making this one so unique, such as it not actually being a full-on open world. Fallout 1 features this distinct map system where you travel to distinct areas and then interact within those maps. But the sheer scale of Fallout 1's world made it so it would be near impossible to recreate that in a fully open world section. So instead, for the 3D adaptation with Fallout Vault 13, they'll be employing a nice hybrid, 5 distinct open world areas that interconnect with a somewhat familiar map system for getting in between them. With this in mind, quite a few new locations are being added to fill out the in-between of areas. So there'll be things like small caves to gift shops and even full-on abandoned towns. In Fallout 1, you really just went to the points of interest. You went to the big town. But with Vault 13, since you'll be able to walk in between points so much more, that you have to actually add things there to keep things interesting. So it'll almost have this hybrid exploration style crossing what we had in Fallout 1 with some of the more modern Fallouts. But it's not forgetting its Fallout 1 roots. This mod will feature a redesigned random encounter system. Not too many details on this are known, but in the original Fallout, random encounters could occur while traversing on map tiles, and something similar is being added here. And even combat will be somewhat different, with crits relying on luck rolls. I think this recent interview made it clear just how many unique challenges this project has faced with feature adaptation. Like, of course, the initial challenge of taking this isometric world and adapting it to a 3D space, but then also making sure this all flows together properly. But thankfully, they are getting some help, as just recently we also got an update and a new announcement from Fallout 4 Project Arroyo, aka the Fallout 2 remake mod. They just shared this new locations trailer along with the announcement that a partnership will now exist between Vault 13 and Project Arroyo. This likely to share assets, speeding up the development of both of these mods. And if you have played Fallout 2, I think this new locations trailer from the remake should get you pretty hyped. Several of the most iconic locations are already recreated for this mod. But honestly, to me, it was these shots from within the Temple of Trials that were the most illustrative of what's actually being done here. You can see some spooky background and some ants crawling around, but look at what this is all based off of. It is a lot more effort to recreate locations like this as opposed to with the Fallout 3 or even New Vegas remakes, because it isn't just a simple remake, but in many ways a reimagining of those places. And while it is very much so the locations trailer giving us a look at some of these stunning environments being made, we also see quite a few new assets here as well. Recreated weapons from Fallout 2 are featured, the 9mm Mauser can be seen, and even a Desert Eagle. The early Fallouts actually had many real-world weapons, and they even had the exact same names. And we could see a few more of these later on in the trailer. Some of these are even already released as standalone downloads. But also a ton of creatures redesigned in the style of Fallout 2. This mole rat is awesome, such a distinctive look compared to what we had from Fallout 3 onwards, but I think a perfect embodiment of what those Fallout 2 mole rats look like. Later on, we could also see some regular rats. Fallout 2 had both mole rats and regular rats throughout its waste. But speaking of standalone releases, Fallout 4 New Vegas, the new Vegas Remake mod, has also been busy releasing a ton of content of their own. Last year, we saw several new weapon mods come to Fallout 4 from this team. The AP7 laser pistol was implemented into Fallout 4 as a true laser pistol with some awesome animations, and it even came with its very notable unique variant, the Pew Pew. But a bit more unique, we also saw recharger weaponry for Fallout 4. No ammo, no problem. These iconic New Vegas weapons were added as a full suite with a ton of customization options, and of course, running out of ammo is no longer a problem. But this has all continued into 2024. This team has already released 2 new mods for Fallout 4 in 2024. The 44 Magnum from New Vegas features its own set of modifications and a particularly awesome set of animations again. This feels right at home in Fallout 4, and it could even function as a replacer for the base game 44 Magnum. But the mod also includes a special quest to find the mysterious stranger's own 44 Magnum for a new unique weapon. But what I think is the coolest of their recent releases are the challenges from New Vegas. This will re-implement the New Vegas challenge system into Fallout 4. So a variety of the things you do in game will now be tracked, like taking down enemies, eating certain things, or even just finding some locations, notably vaults. And the cool add-on from this is nearly all of the New Vegas challenge perks are also re-implemented with this. So by completing specific challenges in Fallout 4, you can also get specific perks for your character. The Fallout 4 New Vegas team has been hard at work on all of this as of late, but looking back at some of the recent C3 presentations, you'll see that other Fallout games are being remade in unique ways as well. As during C3, we also got some updates on Fallout Appalachia, which is a pretty unique one, taking us to the world of Fallout 76, Appalachia, but at the time of Fallout 4, which is over 100 years after the events of Fallout 76. So it's kind of a Fallout 76 remake. A lot of the map is going to look incredibly familiar, as you can see here in the background. But since so much time has passed since you experienced this during Fallout 76, things are different. The core story here is we're going to be going to Appalachia to learn more about the Rust Devils, and it turns out that the Rust Devils were formed by the survivors from Vault 76, aka who you play as during the story of Fallout 76. And overall, this world's going to be far more distressed. Like just literally, Vault 76 is now ransacked and broken open. You'll find it now as a more familiar Fallout vault as opposed to the pristine condition you could typically find it in Fallout 76. It'll be far more similar to how you encounter vaults in other games, like finding holotapes explaining what exactly happened in Vault 76, which is actually pretty cool, because this holotape's explaining the opening of the vault, which we get to live through as you start Fallout 76 and make your character. And these holotapes aren't even totally custom, as these are pieces of Fallout 76 cut content that are being added in via this mod. And this mod's very much so being formatted as a Fallout 4 DLC. Who you beat Fallout 4 with will come back in a major way. When you travel to Appalachia, you might see things like the Brotherhood of Steel doing patrols around, and even the opportunity to retake Fort Atlas with the Brotherhood of Steel, that being their main base of operations in Fallout 76.